Hello and welcome to another video from the Fantasy Legion. We're doing player profile. Sean, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Al. Not too bad at all. Not too bad
Okay.
at all. Really excited again. These have been really well received. We've had a lot of good comments, and we will listen to anything you tell us you want us to focus on. And on that basis, I think we're going to be tackling a few of those first.
Yeah, so we've had a couple of requests from viewers, which is always good. We'll keep them coming in. Drew Lock is the first one we're going to do. Came in last year, did okay, didn't he, for the Broncos? What do you expect to see from
Well,
2020?
again, another one of these, we don't mention too many quarterbacks every year. We normally name one or two, and boy, have we got a good success list. He's another one of those guys that we've talked about who's matured quite quickly into a better weapon than many people thought he might be. Well, they've certainly armed him with a lot of lovely weapons actually down there in Denver, and I think the team is set to make a step forward this year. And I think Drew Lock is going to be a beneficiary of this. I think there are two main reasons. I think the primary one is obviously the weapons, but secondary and probably more importantly, strangely, is the schedule they've got is actually quite good when you consider it. They've certainly got some tough games, but I quite like the schedule. So I could see him logically taking a 10 or 15% step forward. And that's going to look very nice and very healthy for his stat line when you weigh up where you're getting him on the ADPs.
Well, exactly. I mean, let's talk about, the weapons he has got, because obviously they've added Melvin Gordon in the backfield. We've got Philip Lindsay, Royce Freeman still there. So there's three capable running backs there.
Yeah, very healthy running back core. I think it's kind of a pretty good situation for Drew Lock just in that alone, because you've got the wily veteran in Melvin Gordon who can, if required, can carry the load. But you don't have to.
No.
So you probably, first and second down work, maybe your third down, but primarily you can use him sparingly to 200, 225 carries, give Philip Lindsay his share and a few relief duty for Royce Freeman. So a very healthy core.
Philip Lindsay shouldn't be underestimated. Back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons, crowd favourite, Pro Bowl, running back.
And we are the only podcast. I haven't found anybody else out there who predicted this.
No,
so
exactly, yeah.
We
2 years ago, nobody wasn't even mentioned by anybody else, but we had him on our list. Drew Lock was another one as well, actually, wasn't he? On our rookie.
He was. We have to shout this out. We have to shout this out a little bit, because if you haven't actually seen our podcast before, before any data, we said that he was a fifth round steal, even when his ADP on Fantasy Pros was way outside.
He wasn't even on it. He wasn't even mentioned on Fantasy Pros, to be honest. So wasn't even in the experts consensus list.
Scaringly accurate in how he came on that season is the only words I'm going to use if you look back at that video, if you can find it. We'll probably try to link that in somewhere. But coming back to Drew Lock, we did have him as well. And I really liked him. There's a lot of reasons I like him. I think he's done everything I wanted him to show in that first season or so, which is the maturity to take the next step up to the next level. And I'm not saying he's finished by any stretch of the imagination, because he isn't. But he showed that he has got the ability to pick up an offensive system, the maturity to understand how the audibles need to work, reading the coverage is a lot better. There is some work to be done. But, you'd be very happy as a coach after one season of watching him, and that's why they've surrounded him with weapons, because you're thinking, we've got a player here who can mature. And certainly John Elway knows his quarterback, so,
Mind you, he's had enough of them, to be fair. He's had a lot of goes at trying to replace Peyton Manning, hasn't he? But
he has.
This one could actually be the guy that, come through for him.
Well, there's another one that they had on their books that is again worth mentioning briefly, because he may have a chance again, and that's Case Keenum there in Washington, who was on their books briefly. Just keep an eye on this guy again this season. You'll get him for nothing off waivers. Just remember the name Case Keenum and just see how this works out, because it is really interesting down there in Washington. There's a lot of things that could happen yet. Anyway, Drew Lock. I just think he's set for a good year. I see a good 15-20% improvement on his numbers last year, and that means he's going to beat his ADP quite comfortably out, to be honest.
Okay, we'd be remiss if we don't mention his other new weapons. Obviously, we've got Noah Fant going into the second season. He could take a big step forward at tight end. You've probably got the most pro-ready rookie wide receiver coming in, Jerry Jeudy from Alabama. He joins the thing. We've got KJ Hamler, who's got similar sort of skill set. He'll probably compete for a role in the slot. He's similar to Henry Ruggs with speed. He's all about the speed. So
I think Hamler can change field position, can't he? Because he could be on punt return and kick return duty and give them shorter fields to work with. I mean, he's got a lot of opportunity to find a role there, I think, in the 53-man roster. So I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's an interesting team, really interesting team. If things fell right, you could see them taking quite a good step forward as a unit.
I think when you talked about Case Keenum, I think he's actually with the Cleveland Browns now.
Has he? Right. Yeah, sorry. My bad.
From doing our rookie guide, which we will be releasing, well, our actual draft guide we will be releasing. I know that from doing it the other day. So, he's obviously got Cortland Sutton, who's been there, and he's sort of proved himself as a top receiver now. He's going in them sort of first 3 or 4 rounds, isn't he?
Yeah, he was great coming out of college, and he's done well.
Yeah, I mean, he sort of turned into the player they needed him to be, really. So he'll be their wide receiver 1. So Jerry Jeudy won't get all the big quarterbacks, all the best cornerbacks to start with, will he? So that gives him, and you think he'll get the opportunity straight away. So,
I do, yeah.
Locke has got weapons, so he's quite going to be another exciting team to watch. I think the Broncos this year. So
it's really going to come down to the second year. Defenses adjust to what you do in the first year as a young quarterback, and you need 2 or 3 seasons, and you need to continually show that improvement. What I've learned studying the tape and understanding the best players, the best quarterbacks in the league is very simple. Their work ethic separates them from everybody else. And it's that study time that is the difference maker, the ability to read those defenses, and it just becomes second nature to the greats. That's what Adir Franjulot has to work on, because it'll be that study time. He's got the right mentor there, in the office. They've got the right ethic going forward. And I like what I've seen. And I think there's certainly a lot of that going on. And it's easy to talk about this, studying tape, but it's actually, you've got to eat, drink and want it. You've really got to be that good. And I think they're a great looking team for this season now. I'm very excited for Denver, and I've got them as an offense that's going to massively take a big step forward as a unit, as a group.
Still quite a tough division still, isn't it? So
yeah, it is, but I think they can definitely take a good step forward. A lot of their games outside the division look quite reasonable. I don't think it looks too bad for them, and I'm relatively excited to see what they can do.
Okay. I know we have some Broncos fans at watch, so if you want to add any of your thoughts, or whoever you support really, in the comments, then we always appreciate that. We read them all, and we consider them all. If you've enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and we'll see you on the next one.
Take care.